Now it's time to invert triads at the whiteboard, and I hope this will give you a more clear picture of what we're doing than what I could present at the piano. So down here I've written D major triad. We know that it is in root position because D is the root and it happens to be on the bottom. Remember, a triad is made out of a root, a third, and a fifth. This is a D major triad. D is the root, F sharp is the third, and A is the fifth. Now, to get this thing into first inversion, there's two things we're going to do. The bottom note is going to leapfrog up, and the two top notes are going to stay in their same place. Let's do that now. So the bottom note, again, is the root. It's D. And we're going to leapfrog this D up an octave to this high D on that line over there. And I'll write a high D. Okay. And now these top two notes are going to stay in their exact same position. They're not going to move. F sharp is going to come over here, and the A is going to be over there. This is a D major triad. Remember, these labels didn't stay the same. Even though D is on the top, D is still the root of the chord, F sharp is still the third, and A is still the fifth of the chord. Now remember what we learned at the piano. The third is now on the bottom of the D major triad. Therefore, this triad is now in first inversion. And now one more time over here, we're going to put this triad into second inversion, and we're going to do the exact same procedure. The lowest note is going to leapfrog up an octave, and the top two notes are going to come over and stay in the same place. So this is F sharp. The next F sharp is up here, so we're going to leapfrog it up there. There's a high F sharp on the top line of the treble clef. And now these two notes are going to stay in their same exact place. The A is going to stay right where it was on the keyboard, right in that space, and the D is going to come over to that line. And now, this is a D major triad in second inversion. A is still the fifth of the chord. Even though it's on the bottom, it's still the fifth. The root is now in the middle of the triad. D is still the root. And F sharp, the third of the chord, is now on top. So here's a D major triad. It's in root position because the root is on the bottom. And we can write root, POS for short, stands for position. This is in first inversion. We can write first, INV for short. And this is a D major triad in second inversion. We can write second, INV for short. Now, you don't need to know this until grade 6, but I'm going to teach it to you anyways. I'm going to teach you the root quality chord symbols for triadic inversions. And this is just to get ahead. So remember, I taught you for this root position D major triad, the root quality chord symbol is just a capital letter D. Now, I assume you're going to go to grade 6 RCM, so we'll do this now. The root quality chord symbol for this chord, again, it's still a D major chord, so there's a capital D. But underneath, the lowest note is an F sharp. So what you do is you write, it's a D major chord over F sharp. So this is the root quality chord symbol for a first inversion triad. And over here, this is still a D major chord. The root is D, but A is the lowest note. So you write D over A. Okay? So there we have it. It's that simple. Root position, first inversion, second inversion. In root position, the root is in the bass. First inversion, the third is in the bass. Second inversion, the fifth is in the bass. You need to be able to identify the root quality chord symbol for root position triads on your grade 5 exam, and if you go on further to your grade 6 exam, you'll be writing root quality chord symbols that look like this over triads with inversion. And now it's time to learn how to analyze triads. So even though writing a root position triad and then moving it to first inversion and second inversion seems very straightforward, on your exam, you're probably going to get a question where you're asked to identify a triad that's already been inverted. And sometimes you might not recognize the triad right away. Now down here, I've given you an example of what type of question might be on your level 5 RCM exam. So you might be asked to give information about triads that look like these. You might be asked to tell us what the root of the triad is. You might be asked to inform the examiner what the quality of the triad is, and you might be asked to tell the examiner what position the triad is in. So here I've purposely written a triad that is not in root position, and I'm going to show you how to figure out all these pieces of information right now. So we're going to start over here. So I'm going to assume, because I'm making a teaching video, that you don't recognize this triad, and we are going to figure out what it is. So the first thing we should do is somewhere on the side of our piece of paper, we will write down the notes that we see. So here's a C sharp. I'm going to over here write C sharp, and then we have an F sharp, and then we have an A. Okay, so we need to rearrange these letters until they are ordered in thirds. And once they are ordered in thirds, we will know that the triad, at least over here, is in root position. So C sharp to F sharp is a fourth, and F sharp to A is a third. So what if I was to move this C sharp over here? Is A to C sharp a third? Yes, it is. Okay, so over here, I've taken those letters and I've rearranged them into what would seemingly be a root position triad, and I know that because there's a distance of a third between all the letters. So if this is our root position triad, we know that the root of this triad would actually be F sharp, because F sharp occurs on the bottom when this triad is rearranged in thirds. So we've figured out the first piece of information. The root of this triad is F sharp. Happens to be here. It's in the middle of the triad in this picture. Okay, the next thing we need to do is figure out the quality. Now remember the formulas for qualities. Remember in level 5 we only have major and minor triads. Major triads are a major third and a perfect fifth, and minor triads are a minor third and a perfect fifth. Let's figure out which one this one is. Let's not look here. Let's go back to our little doodle over here. F sharp to C is a perfect fifth, so that's right. What about F sharp to A? Is that a major third or a minor third? I know that the third note of an F sharp major scale is A sharp, and this is an A natural, so that's smaller. So this is a minor third. So we have a minor third and a perfect fifth, and I know that is the formula for a minor triad. So the quality in this case is a minor triad. And if you want, you can just write M-I-N, and your examiner will know what you mean. And last thing, let's figure out what position this triad is in. Go back to our diagram. I know that F sharp is the root, A is the third, and C sharp is the fifth. So looking over here, F sharp is the root, A is the third, and C sharp is the fifth. C sharp is on the bottom of this chord. And what do I know about triads where the fifth is on the bottom? That's a triad in second inversion. If the fifth of the chord is on the bottom, you're looking at a triad in second inversion. And we have to write second, INV for short. And that's that. Let's do the same thing over here just for practice. Again, we have to start by doodling, because I can see right away that this triad isn't stacked in thirds because there's a fourth here, and I'm confused and I'm sad and I'm worried. It's safer just to do a little doodle on the side of the page. Let's do that over here. So we have a G sharp is on the bottom, then we have a B, then we have an E. Okay, let's see. G sharp to B is a third, but B to E is a fourth. This triad isn't in root position. I need both these numbers to be 3. What if I move this E over here? E to G is a third. So now, if we look at that, that triad is stacked in thirds. E to G is a third, and G sharp to B is also a third. Doesn't matter whether it's major or minor, we just know they're thirds. Okay, so when it's stacked in thirds, it's in root position, and the lowest note would be E. So our first piece of information has been revealed to us. The root of this triad is E. There we go. Happens to be up here. Now let's figure out the quality. And we can do that by looking more carefully at the intervallic interior of this triad. E to B is a perfect fifth. Okay, that's fine. Now, the crucial piece of information is whether or not this is a major third or a minor third. I know that the third note of an E major scale is G sharp, so this third is a minor third, this third is a major third, we have a major third and a perfect fifth. That is the formula for a major triad. So the quality of this triad is major. Hooray. And last piece of information, what position or inversion is this triad in? Let's look back at our diagram. E, G sharp, B. E is the root, B is the fifth, and G sharp is the third. Let's put that in over there. E is the root, B is actually the fifth, and G sharp is actually the third. In this case, the third of the chord is on the bottom, and we know that when the third of the chord is on the bottom, you are looking at a triad in first inversion. First INV dot for short. And even though you don't need to know this, I'm going to write down the root quality chord symbols anyway. So, the root quality chord symbol for an F sharp minor triad is F sharp little m. Now, this by itself means that the triad is in root position. Underneath, we've already figured out that this is in second inversion. This isn't root position, so what we have to do is we write a slash, and we are actually looking at an F sharp minor triad over C sharp. C sharp is the lowest note. And when you're in grade 6 RCM, you'll be asked to do that. Let's do the last root quality chord symbol. This is an E major triad, so we just write capital letter E, but it is not in root position. G sharp is the lowest note, so we write E slash G sharp. Look at that, we're already learning how to do our level 6 RCM exam. All right, so now it's time to go to the website and download your homework sheet and try to apply all the things I taught you and do it, and then you can come back to my video and we will discuss all the right answers in that homework sheet.